Hello. So, I have a few topics that I want to speak about in this sharing while I walk at the park. Yeah, these are things that I believe are things in our life that a lot of humans deal with, that alter our experience. And yeah, I've shared videos on these in the past, and I thought it was worth speaking about again. So the first topic is sexual energy. How does this affect our awakening path, and how does it affect our experience? I think it's an interesting journey for everyone, and one I've thought about a lot, actually. How does this affect awakening? Because you have some traditions and practices that speak about suppression and holding your sexual energy and not having sex. And this, in my opinion, in my experience, I don't agree with. It's very denying of the body. It's back to that, well, I'm just awareness, I'm not the body thing. And you can feel this in our culture, or more in the spiritual world, that when you just deny the body, and also deny yourself of these worldly pleasures, it leads to a lot of guilt and a lot of secrecy around these things. And I really believe there's it's like a refinement and something like you build a relationship with. I don't believe that complete suppression is the way, but also I don't believe that overindulgence is the way either. So because if we overindulge, if someone overindulges in sex, then what do you feel? You feel groggy, you feel tired, you feel heavy. I do believe it's the balance, and through my journey it's been the refinement of that. It's about learning to let yourself enjoy, but not go too far one way, not go too extreme in any way, because there are benefits to, at least for the men out there watching, to holding your seed. You can create a baby with that. You can, there's a universal energy to that, and you can create a lot from that. But again, I think it's important to tune into, on your path, where am I not feeling free with any of this stuff? Is that due to certain beliefs or certain guilt around that? And just knowing it's okay to enjoy. I would say I'm quite fluid with it, or I'm in the middle way. And I actually saw on one of my last videos, someone was like, I watch you and Osho. And so I'm thinking I'm kind of doing a bit of an Osho here. I'm not preaching free love or anything, but I am in some way, to let the guards down and explore your presence, explore your beingness, and where you don't feel free with sex, and it's it's a practice. So I would say it's just about not suppressing fully. That can be unhealthy, and not overindulging. But finding that place where you feel like your guards are down and you're free with it. And so the next thing this is an interesting one, is alcohol. And this is something that is it's something I have. It's so interesting because it's like something we internalize, all of us. How do these things alter our internal chemistry, our life, and how do they really make us feel? And obviously I've grown up in Australia, which has quite a big drinking culture. It seems to be getting lesser with the younger generations as time goes on. And even I questioned growing up. I would, of course, I would love a drink, and lots of people do, lots of young people do. But I always felt intuitively in my body like something didn't feel good. I was kind of like, what I was more interested in was especially when you are a teen, psychedelic exploration and just having fun with it, with friends, and wow, there's actually something very those first, which I'm sure a lot of you watching, probably some of you not, have had those experiences where, you're kind of opening to more. You're opening to more instead of numbing or dulling. And it's okay, there's something more here, and there's something just so there's something so interesting about that. And anyway, I always just felt in me this is fun and all, but naturally it just started slipping away, as in I started actually just a lot, even younger, a lot of my friends, people in my family would and still do, and I just started questioning, do I really like this? My body doesn't really, and I started just naturally feeling like it was falling away, my body was rejecting it. And at least in this culture, that took a lot of deprogramming. I remember that, there were, and if anything, it's it's so funny how our culture is, and how, the narratives and beliefs around what's good for us and what isn't kind of runs in the background. And I remember kind of feeling a bit embarrassed at first, why don't I like this? Why do I kind of want to stop? And is there something wrong with me? And I remember feeling just sensitive, just being a sensitive being, and my nervous system not enjoying it. And if anything, I then realized it was quite a mission, to stop. And in the end I was well, it's kind of an act of rebellion in some way, to really go out, especially at that age, and say no, say I'm not doing this. It really tests that place of not giving a fuck, really. And I never had an issue with it with other people, but it was just this just feels like a natural unfolding for me. And you have to learn to, it's being vulnerable, being soft, and having a hard shell at the same time, because there were lots of times where I would go out and I would test and try, not drinking alcohol, and I'd feel so open and so vulnerable, and That was really hard at first. It was a big test of like stopping, then going back, and then just feeling like, yeah, like, I'm not really getting, I don't actually feel like this is like giving me much. And then going back, and then eventually it just naturally fell away. I haven't drunk for a few years now, and I've had the most fun I've ever had. I had so much fun then as well, but like I've gone out and had great times and great experiences that I can remember as well really clearly. I'd always felt, even being younger, like maybe some of you I was interested in like, what is this psychedelic thing, and what do they do, and then even thinking like, okay, well, at least here in my experience I felt like there was a sort of like numbing to experience with drinking. And then I was like, okay, like what would microdosing be like? So I'd like go out and try that, and that was like, wow, it's kind of like the opposite. It's like kind of opening to experience more, and it's like turning on the senses more. And I find that even super interesting. Like, where is this heading in the future? Now I know I met a guy. I know a guy who I was friends with, and he knows some guy who's like invested in this company that they're trying to make like microdose drinks. So it's like having a drink or beer, but you're like kind of getting slight psychoactive effects from it. And I mean, that would be, I imagine that would be the future from here. And yeah, my point is with this, like, I don't know, I just want to, I guess, speak about it and also hear like what's your experience with it. And again, like, I do not believe that this affects the awakening process much at all. Like, I have friends and I have close family and direct family that love having a drink. And I don't think like your drink or two really affects your experience too much. And I have a couple of friends that they're very awake, but like they are incredibly like in tune with the spiritual reality. And I'm sure there's a lot of speakers and people out there, and I know who do enjoy drinking, and like it doesn't make a difference. You can learn to be vulnerable and still go out and enjoy this stuff. Enjoy having fun, enjoy living without or with. And I'm kind of in that place now, and even recently, where I've like, I've had some I've kind of had some desires again, or just curiosity around that, but ultimately I don't think it really matters. I'd just be keen to hear what all of you think about this. What I couldn't stand when I was younger was like, and this happened with me, is like I lost a couple of friends because of this. They were like, I don't want to hang out with you. And I mean, some people are still like that. I don't want to hang out because, to them, that is like the foundation of connection. And like, to me, that's a little bit sad. But again, it's like different strokes for different folks. And it doesn't affect your beingness. Like beingness will always be there. I think it just matters, like, what do you value and what feels true to you in the moment. Again, these are just my words. Doesn't mean anything. There are so many super tuned in, like I say, a couple of my friends and a friend I can think of, like super tuned in, like super aware, like alive people that drink. So this is not by any means pointed towards anyone. I just haven't spoke about it yet. So yeah. And the last topic was coffee as well. And most of us drink coffee. I drink coffee. I had a stage actually where I stopped drinking coffee, maybe like 6 months or something. I remember I was on a retreat once, like a plant medicine retreat, and there was a lady there who was like, be hilarious if she's watching this video. There was a lady there who was like, oh, with coffee, I'm not going to do her accent because then she would know that I'm speaking about her. She's like, with coffee, it was something like, why they've shown it in all the movies and TV? It's because like they've brainwashed people. Like, why do you think like coffee was shown in so many movies in like, the 60s, 50s and 70s? And I guess why coffee's worth speaking about is like, it's so common. Most people drink it every day, and it gives you a certain energy, but it's not really from like a natural place, like a natural life force. Like, yes, it can be physically energizing. Like, I had a coffee this morning, but I find the kind of energy it gives sometimes, it can end up like more up here, and at least when I had a time where I wasn't drinking coffee, like, yeah, at least here there was something quite grounding about that. And for all you sensitives out there, or with sensitive nervous systems, like, you will understand this. And so what have all of these things had, how have all of these things had an effect on your journey? Let me know. And even if you disagree with me on anything, I'd love to hear. And actually this is a great time to end. I'm at the top of this hill here in Sydney, which I'll be moving from soon, and it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful view. Look at that. Wow. Alright, thanks for watching.